everyone, my name is Juliana Cepeda, and today I am interviewing Chadi Bechara Siskabab. Shadi, thank you for coming in today. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's a gray day, but I'm doing well.
That's great. Shadi is a drag queen and has come today to discuss their work with us. How about we get started with you telling us how you first got into drag and how you got your drag name?
Yeah, I kind of did it. Drag landed in my lap.
Mm-hmm.
I was a dancer. I was really passionate about makeup artistry, and overall just a theater kid. So for the longest time, I just was kind of entertaining a bunch of different sort of mediums of art, never really calling myself an artist.
Right.
Then at some point I grew up, I found out about Drag Race, caught the bug, and then I kind of realized, I was like, oh wow, this is the best way to just put together so many different things I want to do into one creative avenue.
Mm. And if you had to explain your name, what would be like the story surrounding that?
Sis Kebab, it's become its own thing. I love that name so much. It really was just me and my friend chatting and kind of going back and forth between different names. I knew I wanted something, to involve my Arab culture, something a little bit kitschy. I don't take myself too seriously. So we landed on that, and I just feel like it's like one of those cases where I wasn't so sold on it, but the more I've worked with it and the more audiences get to know it and whatnot, I get to like love it more and more.
Period. That's fascinating. And then for anybody watching at home, what do you think are like some common misconceptions that people might have about drag queen and drag in general?
Look, if you asked this question about a couple years ago, I'd have less to say to you. But
right.
Of course, these days, there's a lot of misinformation going on. And I think there's this idea that, we always talk about the queer agenda. The queer agenda is making sure we see queer kids grow up to be queer adults. It's been such a struggle watching the news cycles because they're all vilifying drag artists and queer artists under all of these different, guises and whatever names they want to call us. But at the end of the day, we're artists.
Right.
And we aren't trying to do art for anyone but ourselves and our community. And yeah, I think that misconception that we're trying to get into people's lives, we're trying to change things without their will, it's just not true.
Okay. That was very enlightening, Shadi. We will be back in a few short moments after this quick commercial break.
Do you struggle to keep your handwriting neat and straight? You aren't the problem. Your paper is. Try new and improved lined paper. With its discreet, evenly spaced blue lines, you can leave lopsided writing in the past.
What's up? Come on. What do I do? I have an idea. Perfect. Look what I have. Hey. How do you know how to sit already?
Treat so tasty, your dog will read your mind.
And we are back with Chadi Bechara, one of Providence's finest drag queens. Before the break, Chadi was just telling us about how they got started first in drag. How about you tell us how your culture might influence a performance for you?
Oh my gosh. Sometimes more than others. Because there are, Sis Kebab, she'll go out and she'll do a belly dancing number to some Kulthum song from God knows 1960 something. So of course there are moments where I really dive deep into it, but at the end of the day, I think the main thing is, like, my culture taught me about glamour. Arabs are glamorous.
They are.
There's a couple different shows and whatnot that people get into, and they're like, oh my God, wait, it's like your whole family like this? And I'm like, yeah. Wait.
I think of like weddings automatically when you say that.
Exactly. I grew up going to those. And of course I'm going to catch the bug. I mean, my mom and my aunties and my cousins are all getting dolled up with extensions and lashes and full beats and gowns.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, you guys are just doing drag. So that, my mom taught me how to be glamorous. Like the women in my life taught me how to be glamorous. I taught myself how to be a crazy person, but that's not my culture.
Yeah. How about like before going out? How about you talk us through like what are your rituals? Like, is there anything that you do to prepare yourself, mentally, physically?
Like any good New England drag queen, I'm hooked up to a Dunkin' Donuts IV. And so let's say like I'm getting ready for a brunch. It's get my coffee in the morning, FaceTime my two friends that I'm doing the brunch with. And we always, I mean, if it's not them, it's a podcast or something.
Right.
Everyone has that, like something they put on while they're doing their mug. But I'll always love FaceTiming my, especially like my two drag sisters I used to do a brunch with, because we would just be sitting and talking and just autopilot painting, and we'd without fail always look up at the screen, realize we're doing the same makeup. And it was just always such a key, because it's like we're sisters for a reason, literally.
Right.
So that, and then realize I'm probably 20 to 30 minutes late, start rushing as I'm like halfway through my makeup, throw everything in a bag, throw everything that wasn't in a bag out of the bag, and then back into the bag with other stuff that I do need, because I probably have stuff from the last gig that I didn't take out of my bag.
Right.
I'm a drag queen's drag queen.
Right. But I feel like to like be in the game, like you really need a lot of like creativity. Like I look at like Trixie, RuPaul, Sasha Kobe, and you of course. Is there anybody that you get like inspiration from for like a complex show or a booking? Like
those three you mentioned are truly really great sources of inspiration for me. So it's cool that you mentioned those three specifically. RuPaul and Trixie specifically have really shown me how to be a business person in drag.
Right.
And I think that's what's important. And for you children at home, yes, we're wearing wigs and we're playing around dress up, but there's a business aspect to it. And if you don't nail that part down, you're going to end up in a world of hurt and poor finances. So those two, like Trixie and RuPaul, really built an empire for themselves. So aside from just, like, my performance style is my performance style, and I'm inspired by so many different people, and nothing's created in a vacuum. But I can say truthfully, as far as branding, marketing, and being, like, having business acumen, that, like, again, RuPaul and Trixie Mattel are two people who I very much have studied their path.
Yeah.
Because they've done it so well for themselves. I mean,
They really have paved the way. But after hearing that, I'm curious, like, if in your path to work, there's been a piece of advice that was, like, unexpected but stuck with you. That could have been, like, in or out of drag.
so there were some good. I'll give you a fun one, and I'll give you a more sentimental one. The fun one was one of the first times I had ever performed. I had Kira Stone, who's a legendary drag queen in our community. She came up to me and she was like, because I was a firecracker, I had a lot of energy, and I was like, the song starts and I'm already doing flips and kicks and cartwheels and blah blah blah. And then by the end of 3 minutes and 30 seconds, I'm like out of breath, heaving into a trash can. So she like literally pulled me aside after, like, it was like my third or fourth performance ever, and she told me, own your stillness. That we are drag artists, we're not backup dancers. And that really, really flipped a switch in my head that really made the difference between, like, I'm just going up and I'm dancing versus I'm going up and I'm giving a performance. Another one was my wood cutting teacher in high school. Throwback. Oh yeah.
Right.
And I don't even know why he told me this. I don't remember his last. I was gonna shout him out. I don't remember his name. But he looked at me and he said, luck is only preparedness and timing. And that, I'm saying, I have taken that with me in drag, in career, everywhere. If you are open-minded and you're prepared for what comes, the timing will happen, and that's how you become lucky.
That is true.
So, yeah, with that.
And we'll talk a bit about your other endeavors after this quick commercial break. Stay tuned.
Has this ever happened to you? Tried to buy food with no way to pay for it? Have you tried to get into your dorm but haven't been able to get in?
Oh, I wish I had a device to allow me to access my room.
You need your ID. With your ID, you are open to a whole new world of possibilities. Being able to pay for your food, or being able to get into your dorm. Your ID. You need it.
Are you tired of feeling uncomfortable taking a nap? Are you just trying to relax after a long day? Feel like you have no options in your house? Well, don't worry, because there is a couch that is waiting for you to buy. With this, anything is possible. You can comfortably lay down. You can scroll on your phone. You can even beat your brother in video games. And hell, you can even get a workout in. So what are you waiting for?
We are back once again with Chadi, an icon of the Providence drag scene. So Chadi and I actually met working at Ulta a couple years back. We were coworkers. Since leaving then, what have you been up to? And how about you tell us about your last day there too?
Oh my gosh, you're so shady. So my last 2 days were really exemplary of what I was doing to myself working at that place. Ulta Beauty LLC, I love you. Y'all, that company treats its workers well. I think even Juliana can agree. We got good stuff. We're paid nice, all that good stuff. But not every manager is like that. And so I got served a deck of cards that hated me. And so I was bending over backwards to do every single little thing I could in my life, both in work and drag and God knows. I was working, driving, doing shows, working the next day, blah, blah, blah. That Saturday, I got fired on that Sunday. That Saturday, I had worked 10 to 6, could not leave early because my manager had told me, you can't leave early. This is important for later. So I said, okay, fine, I'm gonna work 10 to 6. I went home. I did my makeup in 30 minutes to then drive an hour to go host a community fundraiser for the Palestinian genocide happening. And we raised over $3,000. I got there 5 minutes late. Someone else had to start and host the show for me, and I went on, and it was one of the most beautiful, amazing shows. I cried my whole entire makeup off. Then I went back to work that next day at 10 a.m. and I got fired.
And what about your current job? Where are you at
I'm
now?
doing amazing.
That's fantastic to hear.
So after that, I mean, it was like it was an episode. I spent a couple months in limbo. Then a good friend of mine pulled me out of the gutter and she landed me a job in web development. So I'm now, it's so funny because if you've known me in this recent life, I've been so makeup and drag and all this stuff focused that people don't really realize I'm a huge nerd. Like I grew up on a computer. I grew up always tinkering with stuff, and to be short with it. But so it kind of just like was tapping back into like a part of my childhood I never actually like explored, which is so funny because it's like I was like repressing to be more of like this drag queen superstar kind of personality. I was like repressing my like nerdness, my like introverted little like hermit vibe. So I almost like had to re-dig that out. And that person, and now both of those people I think have a lot of fun together, because the tech side of me gets to create really awesome stuff for my shows.
Right.
And then of course I still do drag in a more balanced, healthy way, thankfully. So it's just been really great kind of getting into my own and combining all the things I've learned from my past life and sort of melding them together.
Yeah, and that's like one of the many things I love about you. You're able to like diversify yourself while like still staying true to yourself. Is there anything else that's coming up for you right now that you would like to plug?
Yes. So me and my best friend, my drag sister, the Enigma Punk, we do a bi-monthly show. It has been canceled this month because she started hormone therapy. Everyone clap. And so that sounds like she's going through it. She is going through it, but in a really great way. So we're very happy for her, and she's on a journey. But other than that, we do our show Get Punked every other month in Taunton at the Applause Academy. All you viewers at home, you can follow the Instagram. It's at Get Punked Live. GETPUNKDLIVE live. Stay tuned with us. I do things here and there, but that is our baby. That is our passion
Right.
project. I better see you at one of them.
I will. You will. Trust.
It's such a spectacular show. We put together, it's really more of a variety show, which is really what's awesome. Because I've always known, like, knowing your drag ancestors, you realize that we didn't just come from 3-minute 30 Dua Lipa lip syncs and a bright pink wig. There was a lot more artistry involved, and so we're kind of trying to bring that element back to it, that edge, that grit, that punk. We have a live band come through. We always do a local band around Boston.
Nice.
Because I've had the pleasure of becoming friends with some, which I actually will also plug them, In Plain Sight and JVK, both local to Boston, both amazing, amazing people I know personally, and their music is phenomenal. I've had the pleasure of performing my best friend's music. Like, how awesome is that?
That is really cool.
You know, and then to have her at that show was really something else. So, come to get punked. It's always a pleasure. It's always a fantastic show, and we've done 4 of them now, and they've gotten better and better each time, and it's just so warms the heart.
Right.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for today. Shadi, I want to thank you so much for being here today, and I look forward to seeing more of you. I'm Juliana Cepeda. Thank you for tuning in.